Welcome to another episode of my Motor Town playthrough. Today we are back on Hokyoshi server, and yeah, I'm here to do a slightly different kind of transportation deal today with Linky, doing a mixed cargo run. So we are going to do both a vehicle delivery as well as hauling some fuel. So let's get everything set up and then we'll have to check out what's available at the harbor over here. So I'll be pulling a Lomax trailer, but this time around without a semi-tractor and instead, yeah, of course, the tanker over here. Let me just quickly lift up the third axle, just so that I don't have any traction issues. I think I want to try the S2 Linky here. So let's go with that. Pull it up ahead, get the Lomax trailer, and then we'll check out what's available for delivery here. Did a bit of scouting beforehand, and it seems like right now somebody else is doing vehicle deliveries, so we might not have that many on offer right now, but should still be good to fill up the trailer. It just really depends on if we get a good location. So let's get over there and then check out what's available. Also gotta be careful because I've seen it quite a few times that people start picking up deliveries and I don't know if they damage them trying to put them on the Lomax or something, but often they end up being abandoned somewhere around the map, sometimes even at the harbor itself. So if I see anything that's not parked correctly, I'm gonna be immediately suspicious. But yeah, there we got them. Get them all into view. And yeah, there are a few less vehicles over here today. Or fewer. Whatever. So let's turn this thing around and try to find something to fill the trailer with. I mean, there are enough available. I just hope that it won't be going to Ara if there's even any deliveries going there right now. I don't even think so necessarily, but there are definitely some that sometimes go to Geppa also, and I would really like to have one where, or in this case 3 deliveries that all go somewhere on Jeju Island, ideally to a similar location. Okay, that's looking good. So let's check what we have here. I think the ones that I found in the left lane over here, they might be the ones for me today. So we got one going to this dealership in Gangyang. Another one for, okay, here the luxury dealership. And this one is going over here. Okay, that's going to the Jeju dealership. That's not too bad either. But what about the van? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's what I want to do today. Although as a final delivery, that wouldn't be too bad. But then again, do I really want to force myself going up the whole thing with this loaded? I mean, maybe. The thing is, I also need to think about what kind of fuel delivery I want to do. Usually I want to get to one of the locations that I need to get for the vehicle deliveries anyways, and then just take the one that makes the most money. And going up to 1100 would definitely be very profitable in the end. So that's why I'm taking this thing after all. There's also another reason here. There have been a few problems for me doing this exact thing where the trailer started just swinging left and right after reaching a certain speed and doing small steering corrections. Basically, the Linky adds like an amplifier for any steering input, and that just makes the whole thing very unstable. And I hope having something heavy up front might make this a bit better. But yeah, anyways, that's the first vehicle we load on. I think the second one should be for the luxury dealership. Keeping in mind that the first one I load on will be the last one to unload, so this seems like a good idea. Maybe a bit further back from this. I don't want them to collide if there's any movement in the suspension, but I also would like there to be enough space for a third vehicle on here. Given that if this was real life, this would definitely be it for what I'm gonna carry here, but for this game, we can certainly put on a third vehicle and just have it hang on to the ramp. So let's get that one on. The only thing we really need to take care of is that the front two wheels are fully on the trailer, so they can be strapped down. That shouldn't be a problem here. Just like that, we already achieved the goal, and we just need to strap them down, lift up the ramp a little bit, and then we are ready to go. I would love it so much if we got a full-on transportation trailer that's really made for this kind of delivery. I mean, there's some cool stuff coming on the Trello, like a vehicle factory. Really curious what that's going to be in the end. I mean, I expect something similar to the Anson race car factory, but who knows what it's really gonna produce. And maybe that will be the introduction of a new type of trailer for these kind of jobs. The one that we got in the game right now, the Lomax right here, is really meant for heavy duty deliveries, so yeah, for that kind of stuff you usually have enough ground clearance that the steep ramps and that kind of thing doesn't really matter. But for regular cars this isn't really what it should be. But we are looking pretty good on our vehicle weight over here. It's likely gonna change a little bit once we get all the fuel on, which is gonna be the heaviest single cargo thing on the whole thing here. I know I'm great at words. I've been all over the place recently. I actually took a bit of a break from recording for a while. Basically, a lot of the videos that you saw recently from my end were pre-recorded, especially back when the public testing began. I made a lot of videos one after the other, and that worked out pretty well. But yeah, ever since I've taken a bit of a break for multiple reasons. First up, honestly, there have been so many exploits with the new version that I kinda didn't care for the discussion, and that was everywhere. People have been trying to optimize the exploits both on different servers as well as talking about it on the Discord, and I'm not blaming anybody. It's kinda exciting in its own right, trying to make these things as profitable as possible. I just don't really like the exploits that are available right now. It's just not for me. Apart from maybe the shortcut, because that's kind of interesting, because you are approaching the entire area from a completely different direction. But yeah, I get that people like this stuff. I get that people sometimes just do the stuff to make the money, because after all, the game can be pretty grindy. And not everybody is just willing to put in that amount of time that I, for example, put into this game. Or not everybody has even the option to do that. So yeah, nothing against it, but I personally just want to stay away from that. It's just not really what I like. For my purposes, as long as I'm not doing the worst paying jobs in the game, I'm making more than enough money. But I still like trying out stuff like this here, and Yeah, what you see with the trailer and the link here is exactly what I was afraid would be happening again, but I have no idea how to really stop it. I can try and just keep on pulling, hoping that it will pull straight again. I can apply the brace to get it to calm down, but yeah, it's not perfect. Also, let me just quickly go into autopilot and mark down the location for the first car drop. Just to be safe. And yeah, if I can find the demand for it, I'll be transporting fuel up to 1100 over there. Going fully onto the mountain. This is likely gonna be a two-part video, or a two-part journey. Because I don't think I can make this work within one episode. It would be likely longer than an hour. Who knows? I'll see how far I can get within 30 minutes and then I'll decide if I split this into and go from there. But yeah, the exploits that I encountered were one reason why I stayed away from the game for a bit. I mean, in single player I can always decide not to do this stuff and I won't ever have to see others just sticking around at the meat factory all the time to figure out how to stack the stuff even higher. But yeah, another reason why I stayed away from the game for a bit was that times have been tough recently. I talked about it here and there a little bit, and I don't know if I should ever really go fully into that whole thing, but just to give you a bit of an insight, you guys know that about a year ago I lost my dad, and my stepmom, who has raised me much more than my like blood-related mom ever did, she has been to the hospital unexpectedly 3 times this year. First time for kidney failure, where she almost died during the operation trying to remove it. And second and third time for completely different issues, which have also been worrying. And yeah, I'm trying to deal with the stuff, but not always doing so well. So yeah. I also know that right now, and gonna be careful about the height of the vehicle here. I had it once that I loaded on a large truck on the back, and that completely got demolished by the pipes here. But we should be good here with our little Kia. At least comparatively little. But yeah, the whole thing with my family, it's tough. It's a shit situation, and all we really want at this point is some normalcy, just things not getting worse for a while. That would be really helpful. I saw the 1100 delivery there, but I just wanted to check out other alternatives. But yeah, just looking at the price, I know that Gija is gonna be around 2.4 to 5 per unit here, so that's gonna give me around 50k bonus. This is gonna be a decent amount more, but it's also only giving me 10 units, so that kinda sucks. I might have to stick around here for a moment and see if it gives me another 10 once I see it refresh. Ah, that went quick. Maybe it's gonna pop back up with another 10, otherwise I'll likely just deliver another 10 units somewhere into Gangyang or Seogupu. Ah, got lucky. That will do me for now. So we are now fully loaded, so I can also just put down the lift axle again. But yeah, the thing with Motortown videos for me is I try to not make them if I'm like really having a rough time and yeah, after hearing the news that my stepmom was hospitalized again, that was the case. I had a few days where I just really didn't sleep well. But on the other hand, I noticed for myself that making these videos, even if nobody was watching them, which thankfully isn't the case right now, I'm happy that people enjoy them. But at the end of the day, part of the reason why I make them is for myself. Because it really means that I have to focus on something different than all the shit happening right now. And yeah, it takes my mind off that thing. It gives me a reason to focus, and it's just a good little mental exercise at the end of the day. So that's one reason why I make them. Of course, it also helps that people enjoy them and actually like watching them. So that's just a plus at the end. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with how those things are going right now. It's just, I wish I would be more consistent, but for that to happen, yeah, stuff in my private life would need to go a bit different right now instead of constantly getting more bad news. Like, I would not like nothing more than everything stabilizing right now and my stepmom being on full recovery from her kidney removal and that kind of thing, and nothing else happening for a while. That would be amazing. But yeah, that's not how it's been going recently, so that kind of sucks. Anyways, enough about that topic. It's the whole thing. I don't want to go any deeper into that. But yeah, that brings me to another little topic. The recent racing event on TWL. We had one make race with the new Pulse. And the thing with TWL events is that they are usually hosted by Chessbot, who is American, and he likes to do two time slots. So one is in the evening for Americans, and the other one is in the morning, and on the morning next day, which for me usually means that the first one, which is in their evening, is gonna happen at 4 or 5 a.m. And the later one is gonna be 6, 7, 8 p.m., which is of course a much more convenient time for me, which is why I usually only join the later one. Thanks to my recent sleep schedule destruction, obliteration, whatever you wanna call it, I was actually able to attend the early slot. So yeah, right now while I'm recording, this is actually between the two races. I need to keep an eye on the clock actually because the other one might be starting in an hour or something. So yeah, ideally if I don't sleep on the later one, I should be having both time slots for this event. And I don't really know what to do with them. Currently, by the time of recording, I once again went through the earlier one already. I recorded all the races, I uploaded them as unlisted videos in the playlist as per usual, but I don't know what to do about the commentary. I think the first one, despite usually having fewer people than the later one, there's still enough people there and there was still enough cool stuff happening during the race that I would really like to make a commentary on the whole thing. But I don't know if I really want to do commentary on both time slots. It's too long to put into a single video because there's gonna be 4 races for the first one. So the usual 3 races plus a really nice bonus one. And I hope we'll get the same 4 races going for the second one. And that would definitely be over an hour long for just the raw footage. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll make two commentary videos depending on what happens during the second race. Maybe I'll only comment on the first or the second one, depending on which one is more exciting. I know that not everybody cares for these kind of videos, but at the end of the day, I know that there are some people out there, part of the more racing focused community in the game, who actually care a decent amount of these, so I'm definitely gonna keep on doing them. But I will just gonna have to see how and when exactly. And you know what? I'm getting a bit anxious right now, so don't mind me if I tap out of the game for a moment. I'm very sorry. I'll be back at this in a moment. It's just gonna be quiet for now because I need to figure out if I'm currently missing out on the event. Come on, Discord. Show me the whole thing. I know this is highly unprofessional. Sunday 11th of May. Okay, I got a bit more time. Nice. Just wanted to make sure of that. But yeah, with everything that I just talked about regarding my personal life, stepmom, etc., I've been so stupidly scatterbrained recently, it's painful, so if I didn't look it up right now, I would likely forget about it, and then I could have actually missed it if it happened an hour earlier. Right now it's still almost 2 hours from now, so I can make the full journey, and then I should be good to join. Not running into any time crunch right here. That should all be, yeah, smooth sailing. But yeah, sometimes if I remember something like that, I need to act on it immediately because otherwise it's just gonna be gone from my memory. But yeah, I'll have to figure out how I do the whole commentary thing. Maybe if I watch back the races, I might be able to cut out one or two of them, and that might be feasible to put them into one video then. I'll just have to figure it out, but yeah. We'll see. I would ask for suggestions, but I'm fully aware that by the time that this video comes out, I will have most definitely made the recording for the commentary already, so yeah. I wouldn't mind getting some opinions on how you would like it to be handled in the future, but for the upcoming stuff, that's definitely well underway once we get this thing here published. I don't know why I'm even saying we, because that's a thing that I'm doing on my own. Yeah. I just like to be inclusionary? I don't know. Anyways, we are at least away from the sticky part of the desert. So no more quicksand to get lost in. So if I run off the road here, it's not gonna be that much of a problem at least. But yeah, speaking of events, I think I got a pretty good flow between the topics right now. Recently I found out a problem with my controller, and I've been able to fix it. The thing is, almost 2 years ago, before I even started making videos on this game, but well after I bought the game, I've been playing it on the old PC for a while. Performance was better before it got moved over to UE5. But yeah, anyways, almost 2 years ago, I got myself a new computer, the one that I'm playing on right now. And alongside that, I decided to switch out my controller because the old ones were having some serious problems with stick drift. I endured that for a long time, but upgrading to a new PC, I thought that would be a good point to cut out that problem as well. And I'm happy to report that my 8-bit Duo Pro 2 controller is pretty good when it comes to the sticks. They have a decent amount of force to set back to center, don't suffer from stick drift, at least as far as my experience goes. I think there have been a few posts on the controller subreddit and that kind of deal where they talk about people experiencing drift with this, but overall the sticks have been really nice. Especially considering that I used to have another third-party controller, don't ask me from which brand. But yeah, that one had a lot of force built behind the sticks in order to get them recentered again. And that made it really difficult to aim in games like GTA or something like that. So whenever I was trying to do any adjustments, looking through a scope or something, there was a bit of a dead zone around the center of the controller, which isn't too unusual. But once you got out of that dead zone, the whole thing would have so much force trying to recenter the stick that basically anytime I tried to move it a little bit, in order to overcome that resetting force, I would completely look a different direction through the scope. It wasn't possible to really do any fine adjustments. That's what I'm getting at. And the 8-bit Do controller has been amazing in that regard. Also, after almost 2 years, it's still keeping up pretty well. However, this was really just a side tangent because I don't want to completely shit on the controller. But the problem that I had was actually with the triggers. The triggers for this controller, when I fully press them in until they reach a hard stop at the case of the whole thing, they don't reach 100% input strength for the sensor. So when I fully press them in, the game is just gonna get an 80 to 90% reading for the input. Meaning that I was never able with this controller to fully press down the throttle, really make the most out of my vehicle's engine power. Same for the braking, although that's not too much of a problem with this game. But yeah, it was a massive problem in the end. And one that I didn't really notice because once again, I didn't just switch out the controller, I switched out the controller and the entire PC. The whole experience playing on this much better hardware was so much different that I didn't really notice there being any problems with me not getting the full power. So yeah, for the past almost 2 years, I've never really been able to get the full power down, both when driving around normally but also doing events. Which, all things considered, I think my performance wasn't even all that bad with that kind of handicap. But yeah, I managed to fix it now. It's much better now. And I'm glad that I could do this in-game without requiring me buying a new controller because after all, I love the, the analog sticks on this one. And I really don't have the space of mind to go and read reviews for other controllers and figure out which one I want because I don't really want to spend that time right now. So I'm just happy that I can keep on playing on this thing and not bother with anything else for the time being. It's getting dark again. But yeah, problem solved. But my god, what was that a stupid problem to have to begin with. It also means that theoretically right now I'm not getting the full range of what I could be having. Because basically, and you know what, let me show you guys in the settings real quick. I hope autopilot can handle this for a moment. If I go into options, controls, we can see the throttle right here, and this is what it looks like when I apply the right trigger. If I, and Jesus Christ, I hate the navigation here sometimes. If I look into the submenu here, you can see that I set the maximum to 80%, meaning that I don't have the full range, but works out. It just basically caps off the input signal at 80%, So if I even was able to go with 90 or 95, I would still get 100% output once I reach 80% trigger pull. But before that, I always forget I don't need to go back in order to close that menu. Before that, this is what I would get. This is the maximum input from me pulling the trigger when I don't adjust the input limit. I can sometimes get a bit more by pressing it in a different location. So if I just press it at the very bottom of the trigger, this is what I get fairly consistently. Sometimes I can actually get a bit more, but this is really me hard pressing the whole thing and also pressing a bit further up. So theoretically I could have gotten the full power, but it's with how I play normally, just with low pressure appliance on the bottom of the trigger, this is where we are. If I apply more pressure and especially higher up on the trigger, then I get the full input. But just by being able to lower the maximum input needed in order to get the maximum output, just like that, this is much more consistent. I've done the same thing for the other trigger, only put it to 85%. But yeah, that should be enough already. So this is now also working as intended, and I hope that I can keep it like that. I also had the quickly gonna say hi. I also had the same issue with other games like TXR, for example. So I made a partial playthrough of the whole currently available part of the game. I'm gonna cut the video here in a moment, by the way, so I'll just pull off to the side here for a moment. But yeah, I did a little challenge run doing that, trying to get through the early access phase. Just getting through every single opponent that I need in order to beat the final boss that's currently available. And I did so with one of the starter cars, while having the same issue in that game as well. I'm a pro gamer with shit equipment. That might be saying a bit too much. You know how I drive, but you know that, yeah, this could have been so much worse. Well, in the end, yeah, that's where I wanna leave this off. In the future, this won't be a problem anymore. You're gonna see a bit of a difference with the Pulse event already, even though it's gonna be, let's just say, the Pulse isn't exactly my most favorite car. It's likely gonna be a bit better for me once we do a race with internal combustion engines, because this game, I'm having a bit of trouble getting used to how it handles EV, so I'm not really too great with them right now. But yeah, it already feels quite a lot better, so really happy that I could fix the whole issue. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Next time we'll do the part 2 of this run and hopefully finish up. But yeah, for the time being, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. Until then, have a good one and bye bye.